I'm Barbara Karpuzian, and you are watching the Everlasting Love program. We always enjoy sharing with you life-changing stories, lives transformed by the power of God. Today's program features the controversial topic of creation and evolution. Are we the result of a cosmic accident, or were we intentionally designed by a loving Creator? Stay tuned and find out. I'm really honored to have on the program with me today Dr. Alan Bernthal. We had the privilege of having Dr. Bernthal in our church, and he did a series with us on creation and evolution. So welcome to the program, Dr. Bernthal.
Thanks for having me, Barb.
This is absolutely one of those controversial topics, and we want you to know that this is going to be a two-part series, and so the program that you see today will not be the conclusion of the discussion on creation and evolution, but we will be doing another program as well. So if you enjoy what you see on this program, you'll definitely want to stay tuned for the next one that comes out, and so you'll need to check your guide so that you know where to, what channel to tune in on so that you can get the whole series. And they both are quite different, but the conclusion is really, I think, pretty phenomenal. So Dr. Bernthal, first of all, before we get into this topic, please talk a little bit about yourself, share a little bit of your own testimony, and then bring us up to the place where you decided that this topic is something that you want to talk about.
Well, Barb, I was raised in a Christian home in St. Louis, along with three sisters, and attended Christian elementary school and high school. And when I was about 13, a relationship with Christ became important to me. And it was shortly before that I made the decision I'd want to become a doctor. The human body, the anatomy and physiology of the human body was very interesting to me. And so I pursued that and later went to Valparaiso University in Indiana. And then I came here to Chicago to Loyola Medical School and finished medical school there, studied to be a gastroenterologist, and now I'm practicing in the western suburbs.
Okay.
So,
and so you're a
gastroenterologist.
Enterologist.
Yes.
What is that?
That's
for folks that don't know.
Yes. That's the field of digestive diseases. Ulcers, colon cancer, polyps, diarrhea, bleeding, that sort of thing.
Oh, that just sounds fun.
Yes, we cover all those territories. And we do a lot of the scoping, lights down in the stomach, lights up into the colon.
Okay.
And yeah, that's my specialty.
Okay. So you're a doctor, and now this fascination with the body has led you to creation and evolution. Why that in particular?
Well, it was probably about 12 or 13 years ago that I became interested in this whole debate between intelligent design and creation, or intelligent design, creation, and evolution. And I think it was based on a number of books that I read. One was by Michael Denton, Evolution, A Theory in Crisis, and by Philip Johnson, Darwin on Trial, and Michael Behe, Darwin's Black Box, a number of these, which started bringing up the real weaknesses in the theory of evolution. And it caught my interest, and having an interest in science and in the Bible, that's kind of something I've been following here the last few years.
So why do you think this is such an important topic, and why so controversial?
Well, I think that the whole area addresses some of the most important questions that we have. Why are we here? Who are we? Is there life after death? Is there a God that is interested in us? And Darwin's explanation for life, as we'll see, is really kind of a purposeless, random kind of happy accident. And the Bible speaks about us being here by the express plan of God, His desire to make us, and the good plans He has for us. So there really is a tension between the two theories. And I think it's particularly important for a Christian. What do you do with the Bible if science seems to indicate that it's not true? How much confidence can we put in the Bible? So I think for these kind of reasons, this topic is very important.
Okay. So how can one begin to make a decision about what is true and what is not? And let's, can I just also say that it's obviously not just Christians that believe that God created. I mean, I know there are other religious groups out there that ascribe to the theory, but for why the truth that God created man, that God created the universe. And so I just wanted to say that. I guess I'm also thinking folks that don't ascribe to that are they people that really do believe that evolution is a fact, or is it because they don't want to accept that God is true?
Well, I think, first of all, there's a real hunger in each of us for truth. We don't want to be deceived. There's a hunger to know and to understand. I think God's made us that way, with that kind of hunger. And God in the Bible refers to Himself as the God of truth. It's interesting, when Jesus talked with His disciples, He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And when Jesus actually stood before Pilate on trial, and Pilate asked him that question, "Are you a king?" Jesus said, "Yes, I'm a king, and I came into the world to bear witness to the truth." And Pilate responded with that famous question, maybe the most famous question of all time: what is truth? So I think, first of all, truth is important to God, and God has made a way for us to find truth. And it's interesting how He's made us. He's made us with the five senses, the sight, the hearing, the smell, the taste, and the touch. And with these senses, we can explore the world, find out the world around us, and interact with each other. And that's a wonderful way of finding truth. And in the last few centuries, our senses have been amplified tremendously by scientific instrumentation. Microscopes to look at the very small world, and telescopes to look out into the heavens, and many other kinds of scientific methods of exploring the world. So that this is one way that God has made available, and I think He takes great pleasure in us exploring His universe.
Dr. Bernthal, so you refer to the God of the Bible, and so are you making a distinction about the God of the Bible as opposed to any other religious system that is out there? I know that's not one of the sort of pre-written questions, but I just think that that's important to folks that are listening.
Yes, the God I'm referring to is the God of the Bible.
Okay.
The one who sent Jesus Christ. And as we talk together, if I make comments about God, it will be concerning the God that revealed Himself in the Bible.
Okay. The God who created all of the universe and humanity and all of that.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Yes, He gave us those senses. And it's interesting, Barb, that Solomon once said, I'll read this here, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings." And I love that particular verse from Proverbs. Eugene Peterson in The Message wrote it this way: "God delights in concealing things. Scientists delight in discovering things."
Yes.
So it's as if God has, with great pleasure, hidden the secrets of his nature and given us a way to start finding them out, whether it's electricity or atomic power, whether it's drugs for diseases, and that it's a wonderful ability that God has given us.
Well, we obviously have some of his communicable attributes, and just being inquisitive is one of those communicable attributes, I think. So that desire to discover, so we're constantly on this journey of discovery. So are there contradictions between science and the Bible?
Well, I think I should say first, Barb, that God has given us another way to know truth.
Okay.
And science is tremendous for us, but also he's given us a second way, and that is through revelation.
Okay.
There are certain things that are important to us that science would never be able to answer, the questions we have. We could, with David, look up into the heavens and look at the stars and the moon, or during the day look at the sun, and with great awe say, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork.
Okay.
But unless God chose to reveal himself, we would never know what his name was, if there was more than one God, what he thought about us. Is he still on the scene, or did he just kind of wind things up, then walk away? Does he have any purposes for our lives? So the God of truth desires for us to know truth, and has given us not only our senses, but has also revealed himself. And as Christians, we see that most particularly in the Bible. So the two are complementary. The senses amplified by science, and also the revelation that God has given us in Scripture. As we look at our topic, I think those two areas should be complementary.
Yes.
And both give us helpful information about how life arose on earth.
Okay, so you don't see them as a contradiction, you actually see a marriage between the two.
Exactly.
Okay.
Both are from God.
Okay.
And both should be complementary.
Yeah, I think that's really important for folks to hear, because I think that the way that it's been displayed in society is that science is on one side and religious folks are on the other side. But yet I believe that as I read the Bible, that it's a very scientific book. It's a historical book, et cetera, but scientific. The Bible talked about the world being round before men knew that it was, and among so many other things. But so I like the idea that you say that these two are married. So what then are some of the ideas about the origin of life?
Well, presently there are only two main theories, if you will, concerning the origin of life here on earth. And the first is the one we read in the Bible, that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth and filled the earth with living things. And the second one is the one that was proposed by Darwin, and that is life is a result of random accidents of nature. And there's probably a third that probably isn't particularly popular, but there's one called panspermia. And
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little different, and that was life was seeded on Earth from outer space.
Okay.
Gentlemen like Francis Crick, the one who developed the double helix, or the description of the double helix of DNA, when he realized the difficulties of evolution, even though he was a very avowed atheist and evolutionist at heart, realized it would be very difficult for life to really arise from chemicals within the age of the Earth. And so he thought maybe a jump start would help. So life that was seeded from another galaxy came to Earth maybe as a bacteria, had a jump start, and then the evolutionary process took place.